Another live show. This is the second one of the season. Recapping rivalry week. Had some big games this weekend. Walk in your trap, take over your trap seemed to be the essence of this weekend, with the exception of one or two games. But we're gonna do it a little different. Oh, and plus it's gonna be some familiar faces and some new places. With the biggest one, we already know which one that is, but it's also some new coaches that'll be joining the SEC. But we're gonna start a little bit different. First game, big noon kickoff, legacy game, 4 wins in a row. Tom Brady in the crowd. Charles Woodson was there. Aiden Hutchinson. Y'all already know I don't get to this. The Michigan Wolverines finally get their 4 game win streak over Ohio State Buckeyes, broken by a final score 27-9. Like I said, it was the what it start the weekend off with that game, and then it ended with, of course, the Iron Bowl, the nightcapper. But what do we see from Michigan and Ohio State in that game? What was the takeaway from that in that game?
Uh, I know for Ryan Day, the defending national champions, Ohio State. I'm glad. I know they just glad to get, what I'm saying, that monkey off their back. Um, a year ago when they lost the game, yeah, it was almost time to go ahead and get rid of him, especially if they had lost in the playoffs. But they ended up winning the national championship, so it kind of balanced everything out. This year they back really in the same, not yeah, in the same spot. They going to the conference championship, number one versus number two this weekend. That's my only problem with that, and I know we're not talking about that, is that game means absolutely nothing, to be honest. But it is for bragging rights. But the bragging rights that Ohio State won yesterday was bragging rights over your rival. After 4 years, that's a long time for them to be losing to Michigan. When usually they one of the best teams in the nation, but 4 times in a row, man, I'm telling you, and I just told somebody earlier, I was at the last Iron Bowl that we lost. So, and I know we're not talking about that yet, but that just goes to show like how much time has gone by, or how much time goes by in a rivalry when you don't beat your rival like for years at a time. But it's just a good win by Ohio State. They undefeated, they best team in the country. So
On yesterday, Ohio State just sealed the deal by justifying why they are the number one team in the nation. They only held Michigan to 163 total yards, and Michigan only had 9 first downs. Only converted one third down and didn't convert any fourth down. So anytime you can control the line of scrimmage on each side of the ball, 10 times out of 10, you're gonna win the game. Offensively for Ohio State, Julian Saying is looks phenomenal. You got his supporting cast, Tate, Smith. They show up and show out every week. And Mr. Jackson had 117 yards on the day. Defensively, they held Michigan to total of 9 points. So all in all, Ohio State, they just pretty much dominated and showed why they're the number one team in the nation. And going into the CFP, because I don't see them losing to Indiana Saturday.
Nah. First and foremost, I want to say shout out to Wink Martindale, Michigan defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, Ohio State defensive coordinator, NFL level defensive coordinators. But I will say that Matt Patricia had the upper hand in this matchup of coordinators, because he's going against a true freshman quarterback starting in this game. Even though Julian Saying didn't play in this game last year, but the fact that he was able to sit a year and get some experience behind Will Howard helps in this game. And it also helps that also they started the season against then the number one team in the country in Texas Longhorns. So you went against also Texas at the time, pretty good defense. So now you kind of, yeah, with that. So yes, but Matt Patricia kind of had those guys under wraps. They really couldn't get anything. But even seen from Michigan themselves, it was just like playing a little bit conservative in my opinion, just playing it like, okay, we got a good defense. We can just go out there and hopefully we can get some stops and get whatever going, and we can just settle for these field goals. Sometimes in these rivalry games, you got to be aggressive, man. Like I don't think Michigan was really aggressive enough, in my opinion, and they kind of started showing. And that's when Ohio State, taking shots downfield. You get Cardinal Tate wide open for a touchdown. It's 4th and 5. Ohio State goes for it, hits a double move with Jeremiah Smith. I want to say it was a sluggo. Uh, could have been called a fumble, touchback going Michigan way. It could have, but it was a lot of calls. It was a couple calls in that game that could have changed the outcome of that game, honestly. But the ref power to the refs. They feel like they made the right decisions on the field. So hey, we just leave it to that. You don't want to never leave it up in the refs' hands anyway. But also what you said, like Bo Jackson, he was able to get a good game on the ground as well outside of that receiving core. And they just had a better overall game than Michigan. They didn't have to play their best game, but they played better than Michigan. And now they're going to go on into this Big Ten championship. I think they're going to win. I don't think they put out any lines yet, but to put a bow on this, like I said, Ryan Day finally gets his first win over Michigan as the head coach, and he's only got one loss versus the field, or what, 4 losses versus the field, meaning all the other teams he has played. So, but for him to finally get that monkey off his back, because there are some fans, and there are fan bases that think this way. Like they don't care about winning the championship; they want to beat their biggest arch rival. There are those fans that are like that. Like some of those fans, damn a national championship. We want that Michigan win, especially when it's you going through a drought like they did. But hey, he went on to do great things after that loss last year, but now you come back and finish it up on the quest of a repeat. You knock down your biggest rival, that team up north. Now you're going to the Big Ten championship against a team that is historically known as a loser. But now they have a coach in Kirk Cignetti who's trying to build that program up into a winner. So this is going to be an interesting matchup this weekend. And like I said, this ain't a rivalry, but like I said, we're going to put a bow on that. We're going crazy in the chat. The boys are back. Yeah, we back, baby. But I lost my train of thought, and we live. I can't be doing that. But
Yeah,
so.
uh,
But,
yeah. I think the only other thing I'll say about that game is Michigan running game did look really good for a couple plays here and there, but yeah, they did the
couldn't get
thing where
nothing going.
they did the thing where you play not
Play
to
not to
lose,
lose.
and it was really really evident really really early that they had no confidence in really winning that game other than the environment taking over. But the
Yeah.
environment kind of froze out their own fans, so it really just ended up not going well for Michigan from
Now, I will
start
say
to
it looked like
finish.
they had early momentum, especially when they got that interception. What I want to say it was the second play of Ohio State drive or whatever. They get an
Yeah,
interception, or a
when they
third down, they
didn't.
get an interception. So it looked like early in that game, it was like, okay, Michigan might do something. But as the game went along, it was just like, yeah, this is
Them
why
not.
Ohio State is the number one team in the country. This is why this team has 2 losses. It showed. So
Yeah.
speaking of a team with 2 losses and a team that should have maybe not be in the playoffs right now, Oklahoma Sooners squeaked by LSU Tigers, another team, as we just mentioned, playing not to lose. LSU had a chance, like I said, to play spoiler, but they pissed it away. LSU is now, as we know, now has a new head coach on the way, Lane Kiffin, 100 million reasons. 7-5 to close out this year. Probably gonna get a decent little bowl game. Get a chance to get that 8th win, but we're gonna specifically speak on this game before we speak on the future of LSU because we obviously gonna get there. But what was the takeaway from this game? Because Oklahoma's offense is not a playoff. They're gonna be one and done if they gotta strictly depend on that defense. But so what is the takeaway from Oklahoma versus LSU?
It was a defensive game for the most part. Um, Neither offense seemed like it could get a spark. I know late in that game, Oklahoma scored to take the lead. Of course, LSU was in busted coverage. They left Santega wide open, and that's what caused them to get the lead. But just for me watching the game, like I said, it was a defensive game, and at the end, felt like LSU they could have been more aggressive with their play calling. Because during the game, even though they didn't score as much, they were moving the ball downfield. But it seems like every time they get close, they get tense. Like, okay, I don't want to mess up, or okay, what should I do next? Just continue doing what you did to get there. Oklahoma on the other end have a good defense, but if they don't find an offense between now and whenever they play in the playoffs, like you said, they're gonna be one and done. But other than that, that was a good defensive game, and just so happened Oklahoma came out on top from a miscue from the LSU secondary. Uh, and that's my take on it.
There's a lot of teams yesterday from 10 to 16 that played their games yesterday like they were trying to prove their own individual points to the committee about why they should be in that final 12. And there's still 1 week left to determine a lot of that. But Oklahoma was one of those teams that, even at 8, they were really scared to lose that game. Another team, just like Michigan, that played not to lose a game. Their defense is their saving grace. And so, where their offense continues to lack throughout the season, yeah, I think it'll be difficult for them in the postseason. If they can't find a rhythm, or I still don't really think Material's all the way healthy. But that's a different topic for a different
He never
time.
gave himself time to heal.
Yeah, so I really don't think that he's completely healthy, but that remains to be seen. But nonetheless, just from the standpoint of winning the game, that's what you want from Oklahoma. Like, you in the 8 spot, you're not you're not gonna get to the SEC championship, and you know that. So you're waiting for the rest of the dominoes to fall. And if, like Austin just said, if the dominoes fall the right way, they get a home playoff game. And really, the signature win for their season is beating Alabama on the road. So I feel like they
Oh yeah,
deserve a
no,
home
that
playoff
was that
game.
was very much an
You know,
elimination game for Oklahoma in
yeah,
a sense.
yeah,
Before this one, obviously. So
yeah. So and that's why I said, like, you go play balls to wall against Alabama, you come out with a win. Pretty much after that, you just like with us playing LSU, like we played like we know we're gonna win. It's just a matter of how we're gonna get there. And so it's kind of a reflection of two different games, but Oklahoma got the win, and they ticket to me should be punched, and it's not just biased because they beat us, but they had a really good season. They played some really good teams. They finished the season strong. They're a two-loss team in the SEC, and I don't see a reason why A, they shouldn't host a playoff game, and B, why they shouldn't be in the playoffs.
see the thing, yeah, I know. Like I said, we gonna speak on, but like I'm gonna speak on for Oklahoma. But the thing about it, when it comes down to this, you want to be amongst those nine. You don't want to be 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you don't never want to be in those tricky spots.
Yeah,
But like you said, to Oklahoma's point, John Mateer, like I said, Dak Prescott had this same injury 3 years ago, and he sat out for like 6 weeks. This guy came back in less than 3 weeks and tried to play versus Texas, and you could tell, and it was showing with the passes, the plays they were calling, and the passes that he was throwing. So he's not healthy. So he never gave himself proper time to heal from an injury. Had he at least sat out a month, maybe a month and a half, who knows? Maybe it might look a little bit different offensively, but defense wins championships, but your offense can hold you back. That's what it seems with this. He also had 3 interceptions. That's what I mean by LSU choked that away. Now, granted, they capitalized on one of the interceptions he threw. I think they got some type of points, but even then, they almost knocked themselves out of field goal range. Van Buren had to make a play rolling and throw it to a guy towards the sideline to make the catch because where they would have kicked it from right there, that spot would have been like a 63-yarder, and they were able to get like a nice 15, 20-yard completion and knock some yards down to make it like a manageable field goal kick for their kicker. And then don't even get me started on that fourth down play. Like, we got the season on the line. We can play spoiler. We line up in an I formation, and we gonna throw it underneath. And I'm pretty sure everybody in that stadium now, they probably just go, they just gonna get them 1 or 2 yards. Okay. We saw versus Alabama what Oklahoma did when all Alabama needed was, I want to say, 5 or 6 yards, they played that. So, and they got stopped. Same situation. Like sometimes you got to call play. If you only need 5, 6 yards, you need to call a play that needs 8 to 10. If you need 1, 2, 3 yards, you might need to call a play that needs 5, 6 yards. So I don't think they put their quarterback in a perfect situation for a high chance play. The defense stopped it, they stopped it, but that play there was just so easy to stop. It's just the fact that, and it was like that for them all season because it was situations in the Alabama game where you're looking like, wait, y'all not gonna be aggressive? Y'all just gonna settle? So it's just like, all right, cool. So like, they're just that playing not to lose and not really sparking confidence in you guys, man. What's up, JB? You still owe me a 30 piece, by the way. But what's up? But yeah, but yeah. So with that, the
Hey,
outlook for LSU is bright though, but we'll see. But it's just like I said, we're gonna get into this a little bit later because I got a whole little soliloquy to go on about some of these programs and expectations of their programs. But Lane Kiffin finally takes a job after we waited and waited and waited. I think if we count the ESPN tracker, I think ESPN reminded us 217 times that Lane Kiffin was deciding his future over the weekend, starting Thursday, all the way up until now. But
they had Martin hostage over there yesterday.
yeah, Marty
They
couldn't even
had
go spend time with his Marty couldn't even go spend time with his family, man, because of this
they
story,
had him
man.
hostage at the facility. He was so
But
mad.
shouts out to
Ooh, he was
LSU. Like I said, they still gonna get a good bowl game. Like they probably playing like the ReliaQuest Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl, one of them bowls down there in
Birmingham.
Tampa,
They gonna be in Birmingham.
something
I go
like
see
that.
him.
You know what I'm saying? Go Tigers! But hey, and now we gonna move on to the game that happened Friday night. We kind of went backwards, but Texas A&M with a chance to win. Roll Tide, Coach D. Shout out to the UAC, man. Thanks for showing love, tapping in. But shout out to what did I say? Oh, Texas A&M win and you win. Granted, they still gonna make the playoffs. 99.9% chance they beat Texas and go to the SEC championship. Drop down to like a 99% chance. So either way it goes, but they lose another year of bragging rights as Texas, the newcomer of the SEC, has beat them 2 years in a row now. Still kind of has a you know distance in that rivalry as far as the totality of wins in that series. But hey, Arch Manning looked pretty good. Marcel Reed is bad. But what do we see from Texas A&M that night? Could Texas A&M make a run? Is this a championship contending team, or this a team that could probably win one
Mm,
playoff game and lose? What do we see from Texas
uh,
A&M?
uh,
I can't wait to get to that.
cause I actually watched this game
Me
in its
too.
entirety. Texas just wanted it more. And then once Reed got hurt, I noticed that once he got hurt, everything pretty much just started to go downhill. He was throwing interceptions. Um, it was just lackluster. Um, and he was a leading rusher. And Concepcion only had 57 total receiving yards. But Arch, on the other hand, 14 for 29, 179 touchdown. Wiseman had a big game, 155 yards. So just plain and simple, Texas just wanted more.
Yeah,
I
nice
think
rushing
Texas
game.
A&M. I think I don't want to say they was looking ahead, but you could almost tell that it was like, okay, just another game. We gonna be in the playoffs, so
We good.
let's
Yeah.
just get through it. Yeah. So that didn't look like the Texas A&M from the previous 11 weeks, in my opinion.
But even then, they squeaked by South Carolina. I mean, granted, they was
Yeah.
down like 30-0, but they squeaked by in that game. Yeah, even squeaked by Auburn. But hey, that's neither here nor there. But
Everybody
Dre,
sleep my out.
I mean, to me though, Texas A&M and Texas was again, like I said before my first or my last run, another case of one of those teams fighting to show why they should be in the college football playoffs. Texas once again made it very difficult, despite some of their very ugly. And I mean, we had an ugly loss. So Texas having really two ugly losses to me, overall this season. But they have one of the best quality wins in college football. They beat the number one team in the country. So more than anything, yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a tough conversation. Hopefully, we'll do it. Probably
I
a
mean,
live
Alabama
next
beat the
Sunday.
number 2 team in the country
Yeah,
last year, but
so
so
it's just gonna be a difficult conversation that's probably gonna come next Sunday. But right now, I know it's hard not to talk about it without talking about what happened Friday. But Marcel Reed and that offense just got stunned. They were punched in the mouth, and they never did
they didn't
recover.
respond.
They never did respond. They never did pick their feet back up. And yeah, I mean, I would love to think that. And what's difficult about it is the way that I talked about Texas A&M at the beginning of the season when they were on the road beating Notre Dame, just like with Alabama, is a lot different from how I'm about to speak about them based on one game. And that one game sample size at the end of the season kind of carries your momentum into the postseason. They're guaranteed to make the postseason somehow
A lock, a surefire lock. Yeah,
without having to go to the SEC
Yeah.
championship. But when you take a knockdown like or knockout like this and it's your first loss, and you as a boxer, this is the one where you have to wipe yourself off the floor. Luckily, you don't have to do another rematch, against anybody in a week. You don't have to worry about wiping yourself off and going to play next week. You got to worry about wiping yourself off and getting ready to go in like 2 or 3 weeks. So that's the good thing about the losing to Texas Friday. And honestly, I kind of feel like it was a blessing in disguise. I almost kind of
most
feel like,
definitely.
you know, Texas A&M really didn't care about winning that game because they didn't really want to go to the SEC championship and be punished because of it. They'll still end up being top 8,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
hosting a
they
playoff
exactly.
game. So regardless, to me in their position, like losing to Texas really just helped Texas. That's it. I mean, it's a
yeah.
bad loss, but if it's a bad loss, but if Texas A&M can't recover it based on who they play in the first or second round, the matchup is gonna matter more to me than
Oh yeah, because I'm pretty sure the first round. Depending on who they get in the first round, but my thing was with Texas A&M. It's just like honestly, this is who they were all season. It's just they kind of got by some favorable matchups in conference play, except for with the exception of a few games. Like I said, Marcel Reed has kind of been. You can rattle him a little bit. He's going to make mistakes, but he's also going to respond. This time, he really didn't respond how he usually. Like, I think Notre Dame, he threw like 2 interceptions in that game, but he responded. They came out with a win. The South Carolina game wasn't the best game, but they responded. They fought, and they came out with a win. This game, they on the road. Big, like you said, Texas is out to prove something, but at the same time, Texas is in the same situation as Alabama last year. Yeah, you kind of got rolling. You beat like Alabama beat number 2 Georgia at the start of the season last year. Go on to lose to Vandy. Texas lost to Ohio State, but like, hey, okay, cool. Ain't no shame in that. Somebody had to. That's just one of them games somebody had to lose. You only lose by a touchdown, and then you was a first down away from possibly going on to send that game to overtime. Who knows? But Ohio State gets the win. Credit to them. Um, and then you go on the road to Florida. You look bad versus Florida, whom is looking for. Well, they got a new coach now, but whom eventually ended up firing their coach. Okay, cool. Not only that, this is a game like Alabama was looking bad versus Vanderbilt. Yeah, they lost by 1 score, but Vandy was pushing them around. Same thing with Florida. They ended up losing by 1 score, but the scoreboard don't tell how that game actually went. All right, cool. Now you go on to Georgia. Alabama goes on to Oklahoma. Alabama gets pushed around by Oklahoma. Texas gets pushed around by Georgia. So now we are here. The difference is conference. Alabama who had 3 conference losses to Texas is 2. So that's the only difference. But you're both 9-3, and you both got smacked around on the road twice in the SEC play against Vanderbilt, who was not the Vanderbilt that we're going to talk about soon this season. in Florida for Texas, who has been on a decline ever since they let go of Dan Mullen. And we all know where Georgia is. At least Oklahoma, but the Oklahoma loss is bad for Alabama because last year compared to this loss, this Georgia loss for Texas is because Georgia's pretty much healthy. They're missing Kobe Young. We're gonna see how they find out how they see when they missing a target, kind of how Alabama was missing the target in the championship game. We're gonna see it. So now they're gonna see how that feels, even though they still got Zachariah Branch. Okay, but Oklahoma was missing like their main five receivers the whole year. Like they switched quarterbacks, they brought the quarterback back, and that quarterback ended up transferring. That, but Georgia smacking around Texas. So okay, cool. Georgia just better than Texas. Man, we gonna get there, man. I'm sick of y'all trying to come in here and try to dictate how to run the show, man. Start your own damn shit. If you want to talk about what you want to talk about, this ain't about LSU. It's strictly LSU. You see the name, you see the brand. We ain't even talked about them yet. But yeah, talk about how they went out there and lost that game versus Oklahoma, a game they should have won. Talk about that. But yeah, man, got me getting sidetracked. But long story short, no, Texas is not a playoff team. Texas has showed us time and time again who they were, and no, they're not a playoff team. This is the same quarterback who went like 10 for 25 against UTEP. UTEP, ladies and gentlemen. So why does the team deserve to get in the playoff? Because they were better than Texas A&M on one night. No, I'm sorry, they don't deserve to be in the playoff, in my opinion. Like, granted, they're gonna be like, well, maybe we shouldn't schedule Ohio State, but if you beat Ohio State, you finish the season 10-2, then we're not having this discussion, are we? So there's that. So hey, Oklahoma has an even worse offense, fam. Did you not watch the game yesterday? That quarterback ain't even got a thumb. But to put a bow on that, man, like you said, Texas A&M is just, like you said, a blessing in disguise. But it's just like, how are they going to pick themselves back up? Because hey, that's a long layoff from now until the first round of the playoffs. So that's about a 4-week layoff, man. So they just got to keep themselves focused for that time frame, and then put it on to another team who's on the cusp. The Vanderbilt Commodores. I think me and Dre was the only ones who was kind of on the side of this. Walked into Tennessee and ran them off the field. Diego Pavia, nearly 160 yards rushing to cap off the regular season. Their first 10-win season in program history. What do we take away from Vanderbilt? The Vanderbilt showed the committee. They also, now I will say Vanderbilt is almost looking like South Carolina last year, but South Carolina finished 9-3 to Vanderbilt's 10-2. But what do we think about Vanderbilt? Did they show the committee anything?
I love it. I love the way that this season's ended, but they're gonna be on the outside looking in. It was a good season. It's gonna be a good quality win. I think the loss to Alabama really is a throat punch. Who else did they lose to?
Texas.
Yeah, and the loss to Texas. Yeah, so in the committee, like, they love Texas, so they're gonna throw Texas before they throw Vandy. So if it comes down to one of those two teams, then yeah, Vandy catching the boot. But
most definitely.
yeah, I mean, it's been nice, and I mean, I don't know, maybe Diego, you know what I'm saying, maybe he a real Heisman candidate. I don't think other than Mendoza. Anyway, we ain't even talking about that. But yeah, but it was a good quality win. 10-win season for Vandy. Coach got an extension after the game. I thought that was well deserved. The only thing about it is, first, is Diego gonna get another year eligibility? If he does, then hey, we got something.
Nah, man, 8 years, cuz? Nah.
Yeah. But
time to go on. Hey, man, go get your. Hey, Diego, just go and get them CDLs, bro. It's okay, bro. It's all right, man.
They ain't gonna give. They ain't gonna
be a grad assistant. Be a grad assistant. Be a part of the program that way, man. But it's okay.
Yeah,
they're not gonna give them 8.
Other than that, yeah, I mean, it was a good season overall for them. I can definitely say that much. Something good to watch.
Like I said, this being their first 10-win season, they definitely got a chance to make history again. They could finish the season 11-2. Now Tennessee was a playoff team last year with Nico, and now the bottom fell out. Tennessee just back to the drawing board. So, but hey, I really ain't got too much on Vandy. Anyway, but shouts out to them for having a great season. Fan let that hate out your heart go too, man. That shit almost 20 years old, man. You know what I'm talking about too.
Nah,
Yeah, I
I
know,
just
man.
don't like
I know, man. I know, man. I know. I just wanted. I thought about that. I thought about that earlier, though. I just wanted to put that out there. For those that don't know, no, we ain't even finna get into that. But hey, man, it's that time. Elephant in the room. Saturday night, Auburn, Alabama, 6:30. Jordan Hare Stadium, the Plains, the Barn, the Cow Pasture, Voodoo Land, East Alabama, West Georgia, Lee County, Sky Bar, Toomer's Corner, Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, whatever you want to call it.
From
Auburn
Southeast.
Tigers versus Alabama Crimson Tide in the 90th edition of the Iron Bowl. Alabama goes on to win its hold up in a row, 8 out of the last 10. May I want to throw that in there, fellas? What is our takeaway from the Iron Bowl?
You know,
Donald
I'm.
better get it together.
You know, to be on the winning side of a rivalry for 5 years in a row and every year still go into it like with the same amount of stress, knowing that you've seen the same result 5 years in a row, but going into the sixth one, and this one being, and I mean the last five have all been important, but this one probably, as they keep building every year, the most important one as of yet. Um, yeah, just like I just said with Oklahoma, it's one of those teams that as I look throughout the season, like the way that I'm talking about them at the beginning, the way that I'm talking about them in the end is kind of troubling. But my favorite word that I've used all season about my team continues to be the same vocabulary that I'm gonna use right now: resiliency. Learning how to win different games in different situations is all that really matters to me. Um, no, we don't show the dominance, and we didn't win in convincing fashion like Ohio State did over Michigan. We didn't even win as convincing as I would say as Texas did over Texas A&M. But for all the breaks that went our way yesterday, for us to have as Auburn of a Auburn game as we could have in Auburn, a win is a win, and a win in one of the Deep South's oldest rivalries, one of the most important rivalries in all of college football. So yeah, there's a lot to be worked on, and we don't have as much time as some other playoff teams have because we got to suit up again in 6 days, and so that's going to be more difficult.
Walk that damn dog.
That's going to be the more challenging situation out of all this is that we got a lot more to work on, but we've got to win this week to even give ourselves another chance to go back into the vault and work on becoming the championship team that I still think from the preseason I think we can be. Um,
Even though you beat Texas. So, but yeah,
yeah, but um, defensively, every single game that we play defensively, we're giving ourselves a chance to be in every single game. And
gotta
again, our
put them off.
defense,
Gotta
our
put them off,
defense
man.
did the job once again. There was a lot of drops and miscues from Auburn's offense. They had a lot of pre-snap penalties. They had holds in some critical situations. They had two touchdowns get called back in our favor. And also, the timely turnover there at the end of the game. That's the most important. That's the most important pivotal play of the moment of the entire game. But just the aspect of going into Jordan Hare Voodoo Land 6:30 kick for the first time in a couple of years. Um, it's good to go into Auburn and get that win. That monkey is off our back. Coach the boys 2-0 against he's 2-0 against
Took
Auburn
the last
in two
three up there.
years. So uh, and I don't think that's going to change next year. He has his first 10-win season. I thought last year was going to be a 10-win season, but he's got his first 10-win season. That's important too.
I'm
Um,
pissed.
you
It could
just
be
keep them.
18 straight. It could be 18
Yeah,
straight 10-win seasons. I hate to cut you off, but keep going.
yeah, but I mean, at this point, you just got to keep the momentum rolling. We in a good spot. We're going to the SEC championship. I don't think Georgia wants to be here any more than we want to be here, but we're competitors, and we want to. And if it comes down to us in Georgia, we want to beat Georgia, and that's just. I mean, it is what it is on that. Like,
Walk the dog.
so it's time to focus back in. It's time to get back to the 1-0 mindset and go out here and win an SEC championship. But as always, 6 straight wins in your rivalry game is the most important part. So that's all that matters.
Take off, fam.
With this game on last night, defensively, they played a good game, other than the two big plays by what's his name, Simmons, and those came from, of course, QB scrambles. He breaking the pocket in the receiver, breaking the route off to get open. But other than that, they caused turnovers. They caused turnovers. Um, did a good job controlling the line of scrimmage at times, and as well as being disciplined. Um, to be honest, if Auburn had any form of discipline, they would have won this game. But luckily, they weren't disciplined or had discipline for this game, and they ended up losing. Offensively, I think offensively, Clavis was missed on last night, and it showed. Even though Ty Simpson only threw for 122, he made the plays that matter. For example, that last touchdown. That was a heck of a throw in between two defenders in a very tight window. Everybody, it's it's a lot of QBs that can't make that throw. So the fact that Ty was able to make that throw in a hostile environment, 4th and 2, that was incredible. Far as with the running backs, they did a good job running the running the ball this game. It's unfortunate that Jam got hurt, but we still have the power back in Daniel Hill, who was doing a good job, and also AK there, even though he was only in a few plays, he made a play when his number was called. Far as the receivers, Horton did an excellent job. He played big boy ball. Yeah, he played big boy ball. He had one drop, but that was a contested drop in the end zone. The defender made a heck of a play on it.
Oh, Horton.
Bernard still
Yeah,
clutch making the play. Yeah, Horton, my bad.
yeah,
Horton
Yeah,
was
Horton.
making
That
the
was a that was a that was yeah
making the
that was a good
plays.
one.
effort. That was
That
an
was very
excellent
50
effort.
50. That was
That
very
was an
50
excellent
50.
effort, and that would have been.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, yeah, I do
yeah,
want
that
to
was
jump in.
a good play.
That was probably one of the better throws and under duress that Ty had made all
Yeah,
night. And for it to be as spot on, and for him to actually give Horton a chance, and for Horton actually almost to come down with it, boy, like we didn't talk about how much
yeah.
momentum that really would have pushed us over. But yeah,
Bernard, of course, making the plays and his numbers called. So the thing that I want to see from the offense now that the regular season is over, you only guaranteed one more game. That's the championship. Can you put it all together? I know people are talking about Rod Williams didn't play. Well, probably the reason he didn't play. Hopefully he's more involved, or the coaches get him more involved when they play Georgia. I would like to see us continue to run the ball, find the running game in the championship, as well as do we did the first game, spread the defense out, take some shots downfield. Not really worried about the defense. Defense gonna show up. It's just the offense. They've been sputtering a little bit, but I think now that we're in the championship and now that they really know they backs against the wall and they're only guaranteed one game, I think they can turn it around.
I mean, and not just that, like I said, who when you get to this point and you realize, all right, cool, we in the SEC championship. Like, who doesn't want to be the SEC champ? Who doesn't want to be the king of the SEC at that point?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then not only that, and this is why I said I can't wait till we get to it, and I think we about to get ready to step on the toes of it. But, um, first of all, Georgia's been little brother for the last couple years now. You know what I'm saying? For quite some time. Since the tenure of Saban, now under the boys, been pretty much the same. And so I say all that to say, like, okay, so we get to play them again in the SC championship. A couple years ago when we went through this, we didn't see them until the SC championship. We beat them, then we ended up playing them again in the national championship. The reason I'm bringing that up is
Before you
because
stop that too, and
go ahead.
people want to say, yeah, the two receivers went out, but we was missing more than just them two. We was
More
missing
than just them. We
like
was
two
missing
running
a good
We
bit
backs,
of the
missing the
team.
like
whole
three
start
We
line.
was
DBs,
missing a good bit of the
three
team.
DBs. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
it
that's
was
not.
more than just them two
Yeah, missing.
receivers. But go ahead, go ahead.
But I say that to say that there's a lot of potential there for there to be a third meeting between Alabama and Georgia if Alabama is to
Yeah.
win the game because Georgia still you know what I'm saying, even as a little brother, big other second, not second, but one of the biggest rivals under Auburn, for them to be one of the most competitive rivals that we got, like, yeah, I think they still deserve to be. They're still one of the best 12 teams in the country to meet, even if they lose the SEC championship. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I know the focus is for us to win this Saturday, and that's why I said, like, who doesn't want to be a competitor? Who wouldn't want to show up for 60 minutes and then and go show the people, show the world that 3 months ago that wasn't a mistake and it's not a mistake again 3 months later. So, I think you gotta want to go be a competitor Saturday.
And on that note, I
And
didn't get
that
a
you
chance to
win
speak
the
on
SEC without
we previewing the
Saban being there for
game
2 years.
before we even finish the recap. Let me go ahead and jump in. First and foremost, Ryan Grubb was the one who was really activating all that witchcraft last night because the game 17-0. All we gotta do is go down here and kill clock, kill clock, kill clock, and put the game away. It don't even matter about scoring. I mean, of course, you want to go up 24-0 at halftime, but ultimately, run your 4-minute offense at the end of in that situation to leave them no chance of getting any type of points going out. Now it's 17-6. Now they feeling, hey guys, they in the locker room. Hey guys, we right there, guys. We go out here and score a touchdown. You know what we can get, guys. Leave no doubt. Another thing, you remember when I said last week, rushing for how many ever yards they rush for against Eastern Illinois ain't impressive if they don't go out here and
And
rush
do it
for at least
again.
150 versus Auburn? Well, guess what? They shut me up. They ran for 158. Jam was out there at least when he touched the ball. It seemed like he was getting at least 4, 5 yards of pop, which brings me back to that as well. Ryan Grubb, if you see we getting 4, 5, 6, 7 yards on first down, why would you want to? Why would you want to try to ruin that? Even getting 3 yards on 2 plays back to back, it still makes it easier for Ty Simpson on third down. It makes it third and manageable. Why would we want to ruin that? So this game, like a lot of people say, "Oh, my blood pressure, my
I
pressure."
don't.
Like I expect nothing less. This Alabama is roll tide forever, but Alabama has showed us time and time again who we are. We are the one win. We are the one score win merchants at this point. So I expect nothing less. That's why I really wasn't like, I'm about to have a heart. No, I expect nothing less. But this game should have been put away at halftime. It's been a multitude of other games that should have been put away at halftime. South Carolina, not South Carolina. It was another game. I think Missouri was a game that should have been put away at halftime. But yeah, but this is what Alabama football is. Survive in advance. And now we in another situation. Hey, survive in advance. Because like you said last week, about upcoming week, guarantee one more game. Well, guess what? We was on our ninth life last night,
Yeah.
losing, and that's it. Like, not even get a chance to go to the SEC ship after that. So, excuse me, it is what it is on that point. So it's just like, yeah, man. But like, credit to the defense, man. Credit to all my receivers too, man. Butterfingers.
A lot
Butterfingers.
of
Hit the jug machine extra in the off season. A lot of those throws were kind of off target, but the quarterback gave them chances to make the play. They just didn't make it. Some of them was on
If you
target, and
put
they were just out here dropping.
if you put if you put your hand on, you gotta catch.
I get
It
that.
no matter if it's throwing a little high, a little low, you touch it, you gotta catch it, especially with both hands. You gotta
But
catch
we done played that before. Some of the degree of difficulty of some of these catches, not majority for Auburn, like the one with Cam Coleman, that was behind Cam Coleman and a little low, so he had to jump, like make an adjustment. Like
I
it.
that's a
That,
understand.
tough catch.
I ain't talking
Uh,
about that one.
Yeah,
it's a
I
lot.
ain't
Yeah,
talking
it's a
about
lot
that
of
one.
it's a lot
it's
of them
some
throws
that
that
was
was
just
actually
right
on
in their
target.
hands.
Yeah, it was a lot of them that was on target. I know.
like
And
right
shout out
between
to
the
Horton,
numbers.
And
man.
guess
It seemed like
what?
Horton kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit, even though he be out there. Then to come with 3 touchdowns, all 3 receiving touchdowns. The biggest one being on that fourth
And,
down.
and
And oh
and
boy,
if I
I'm
got you
glad.
on scholarship, I expect you to make the catches.
Yeah, let
I
me.
So
hear you.
hey,
I
them
hear you.
folks paying 20, 25,000 or some else, you gotta make the play.
Let me highlight that because I
But
said
yeah,
that last
that's
night. I said that last night, but I want to bring it up while we're on the show. That
Yes,
fourth
sir.
and two, man, 8 minute drive. You start in hostile territory, game tied up. You got to go get something on the board to, you know what I'm saying, quiet this crowd down. Fourth and two from your own 7 yard line. What a freaking call! What a gutsy freak! Nick Saban yesterday morning during game day told a story.
kick it.
He first of all he would have kicked, but Nick Saban told a story
He would have kicked.
about a team he had at LSU where he went for it on like fourth and short and they didn't get it, but his team believed and because of it they ended up getting the win. Going for it right there on the 7 yard line on fourth and two. First of all, yeah, we can get the first down. We're not worried about that. But showing that type of guts to show your team like I'm going to the wall with y'all. Like this is we going all the way. I think that directly goes to the momentum that caused the turnover a couple plays later. Like that type of relentlessness, like when you go out there and you take 8 minutes off the board and you leave a team like Auburn that is kind of started reeling at the end, like they really started to come together. You know what I'm saying? We would have kicked, we either would have missed or we would have got three and we would have ended up losing 26-23.
But see, I ain't gonna lie. One thing I do like about that fourth, because you're right. Because guess what? Missing a field goal that close, it puts them at the 20. You go for it on fourth down and you
And
don't
he
get it. Guess
known for
what?
missing it.
They got to go 93 yards.
You got to
And
go 93 yards.
this quarterback and this bunch of receivers, yeah, we don't really trust that unless we get a guy Xavier Mancy who drops the money the previous play and then comes back the next play and takes a bad angle, and they break and get in scoring position. So a lot of their touchdown came off just the most boneheaded blunders. Credit to them though, because they had a
Scramble,
bunch of drops. Because they
scramble
had a
drill.
bunch. But Dijon, but see, what the thing about that is Dijon Lee tried to go for the pick instead of just playing on the receiver. Okay, if he made the catch, at least I'm right here to prevent the play from becoming an even bigger
He
play.
wasn't. He
He
wasn't
was in the
never
play
on the
last.
receiver.
He was. I mean, but he was in the area. You get what I'm saying? He could have stopped it from
Yeah,
becoming a. He could have stopped it from becoming a bigger play than what it was. Is what I'm saying. But Mincy, like I said, Mincy had the money in his hands, dropped it. But shout out to the defense. They made plays here throughout.
Hey,
You know what
play.
I'm saying? They went for it on fourth down.
yeah,
Jefferson got in there and broke the pass up. So credit to the defense. But yeah, my main concern as all year has really been the offense, mainly Ryan Grubb. It's just like, and also, even we could take it back to last week. Ty really had no rhythm in the Eastern Illinois game because we was trying
Yeah.
to. They let the
Yeah.
committee play in their ear, and
Yeah.
it kind of carried over to this game. So that's why a lot of these passes looked the way they did because Ty
Yeah.
really had no rhythm. Like we don't have plays where we like, okay, let's swing it out here, let's dump it off here, and then they were blitzing. As much as Ryan Grove loved to spam them screens, it would have
And
been a perfect time to call them screens. We
I
called it
still,
one time, but we should have kept it going.
I'm still truly really against how often we do 3 and 5 step drop passes and how poorly we do in short yardage situations. We had a critical third and short. I think I texted you about at the beginning of the game where I said it like we're going to a 5 step drop on a 3rd and 5. Like get the ball out of his hands, and all of our
So
receivers ran like 8 yard routes. Like those are
that's
situations. You know
that's
what I'm
because you
saying?
don't have that's
that, and then
because you don't
we
have
had that play
players in the
action.
lineup.
Yeah, and you
Usually,
also got that play
that's who the
action. We
ball
also
go
got
to in that short yard.
yeah, and that play action boot only
That's
need a
who it go
yard or
to.
two, and we
Yeah.
dropping back trying. I mean, get it, trying to catch the defense on guard, but at the same time, I know I say run plays past like the
Pass the
expected yards that you
sticks.
need to get, but at the same time,
We had
if
a
we
lot.
only
We have a
need two
lot of
yards, we don't need to
situations
try
where
to go
we
get
don't have to
20
be in
yards.
that
We don't need to try to go
situation.
get 20 yards off 2 yards. If
Yes,
we
we
get
don't.
5, 6 yards off 2 yards, okay, cool, that's different because you give yourself to like we're not leaving it up to bringing the people out here to review it or measure the spot. If you get 5 yards and you only need 2 yards, you know that's a first down. So it's just
And I
like,
mean,
yeah, man.
we've had poor
Yeah,
success
he
on
come out there.
we had poor success in a couple fourth and short situations, third and fourth and short situations, running the ball to your credit. But if we like if we can't run the ball on those short yardage situations, like that's the only place that I really would like for our play calling to get better. So
Yeah. And the difference between like a Nick Sheridan, he just had the wrong quarterback because we had guys running wide open with Nick Sheridan. This year is like we can't get no separation because it's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. But hats off to the guys. Like I said, 6 straight win in
We
the Iron Bowl,
missing
man.
Quavers.
Yeah. And I
And
don't
then
even
your
know
other
what's
tight
his
end get out
timeline.
there.
Caleb Edwards, Pritchett. I don't know what's when I saw him drop
Yeah, like he
Pritchett.
ain't see the ball.
Pritchett, that was a guaranteed little 8 yard, 9 yard completion right
I
there.
asked,
That's
why
another
is he
thing.
out? Why he
That's
got
a
out there?
that's another thing that be messing up tie stats too, man. A lot of these drops.
Yeah.
Auburn ain't the only one to be having the drops too, man. They had like top Simpson, what 19 to 35. Top Simpson could at least win like 23 or 35, man. That's a little bit better than 19 to 35. So
I ain't gonna
that's
lie,
just me though,
it
man.
was cold out there. Now that ball get hard.
But
But you
and
still
Daniel
gotta make
Hill,
the play.
man. Daniel Hill, man. What Daniel Hill get clumsy, man. Like how you already falling? You only 2 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Too
Like there was
big.
that one run, he had that grown man run, like he got stopped, but he ended up getting 9 yards. Now, like I like that. But the thing about this though, we didn't see Daniel Hill versus Georgia, so now we get to see Daniel Hill versus Georgia. They even
You
put
gonna
AK Deer in. We finally
you
had
gonna
to
see
use
him
AK
too.
Deer. We finally had to use AK Deer.
He
Jam was
gonna be
having a
the X.
great game.
He gonna be
Jam was
the
having
X
a great
factor in that
game,
game.
but Jam lost some cool points when we ran a perfect play for him out of the backfield, and he didn't turn his head around to secure the catch. Easy first down. Ron Williams set the pick for him on the linebacker.
yeah,
Jam wide open. And
beautiful play.
but
Jam finna get hit. That's why he dropped.
man,
Yeah.
wasn't nobody even within 5 yards from him, man.
That's safety was right though. That's
Yeah,
why he
but
dropped.
he
He
had the
looked. He
first
turned
down
the
though.
head. He turned the head. As soon as he caught the ball, he turned the head. He dropped.
Yeah, man. So it's just like, but yeah, like I said, hats off to the guys, man. Another win. Back to Atlanta. It's been seems like it's been a while. It's only been 2 years. Versus a familiar foe. This time, I ain't never played Georgia twice in the same season. Well, besides that two championship. But
Championship.
coming off a regular season matchup, I shall say.
It might be a third.
So, like I said,
It'll be
it might
third.
possibly. Kalen DeBoer, Washington, year 2, Washington. Damn, Washington. If you know, you know. But but if it's play Oregon, regular season, beats Oregon. Pac-12 championship, plays Oregon again, beats Oregon. Dan Lanning, product of Kirby Smart. So here we go again. Let's see what we got. Play Georgia, in Georgia, beat Georgia. Now we in the SEC championship. If you want me, you can find me in the
I think
A.
I think our receivers gonna shine this game because Georgia secondary ain't the
Because like I
best,
said, now they about to see how it feels to be down a main target
and you
against
don't
an
have
opponent like
Kobe.
this.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. So there's
so
that. But they ran for 260
they
yards. They
still
ran for
gotta play. Yeah,
260 yards. They ran for 260 yards
yeah,
in that first
still gotta
matchup.
play.
And they
Yeah,
felt like they was there if they would have just took them points instead of trying to be cute and go for it. But that's neither here nor there. But moving along, keeping it SEC, there's been some coaches that have been hired. Obviously, we got Lane Kiffin going to LSU, been on the wall. Got Summerall from Tulane going to Florida. Ryan Silverfield going to Arkansas. And we got Alex Gocius, the thorn in Alabama side,
Yep.
going to the Auburn Tigers.
they sleep
What
on
shall we
top.
expect from
They
these
sleep.
programs moving forward, aside from a Lane Kiffin? Because we already know the name alone gonna bring in the talent with Lane Kiffin. But
Lane
what do we
Kiffin
expect from these other three?
Speaking of Lane Kiffin just walked in the building an hour ago, and the number one recruit in the nation was there waiting on him.
I'm ready, coach.
Yeah.
I'm ready, coach.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
But
Ole Miss,
hey,
man, Ole Miss never stood a chance in this situation.
Lane knew what he was doing.
Knew it, and Lane knew exactly what situation they were gonna be in after
Yeah.
yesterday. He did want another month to poach these
Yeah.
players and coaches. Is the timeline and everything surrounding what the NCAA doing messed up? Yes. But the situation is not gonna change when they change this calendar next year.
The
Somebody's
game
still gonna be in the
is the
same
game.
situation. The
That's what we
game is
talked
the
about last
game.
night. The game is the game. Either you evolve or you just get left behind.
The
Yeah,
players
so
can leave. Why he can't leave?
right. And
Players leave.
that's why I said the calendar gonna change, but the game's still gonna be the game. The talk's
They,
still gonna start as soon as rivalry week over. People
yeah.
already gonna be saying they gonna transfer and all that. Ain't nothing gonna change about that. You know,
I already know champions transfer.
um
No,
If he
Chalmers
got
is a
to get.
senior. Chalmers is a
Oh,
senior.
is it?
If
Oh,
anything, Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons.
oh yeah,
And I
yeah. I
think,
forgot
and
about
you
him.
want to know us, and I think that's probably what, hey, man, just sit this one out, bro, because you're going to get this job at LSU. I got you.
yeah.
So, hey,
Um, Florida made a good hire, and a guy that clearly just did it with a smaller team. But it's not
that's
the
the
same
same thing with the
as a
Billy Napier,
Florida.
though, man.
But I think they made a good hire in Summerall. I like Summerall. I like what he did down there for the last couple of years with Tulane. Auburn made a terrible hire, and they will go on to lose the next three Iron Bowls because of it. And that's just pretty
Nah,
much it. I think.
I'm no trolling. I actually like that move. But
Yeah,
here's the
he.
thing with
He
Auburn.
good.
Here's the thing with Auburn, man.
They
You
gotta
can
let the
bring
coach
in
coach.
you can bring in Nick Saban for Auburn. If you
Yeah,
got these
yeah,
big wigs still running over the program, you got
yeah,
imagine one Jerry Jones and you got 10 Jerry Joneses. Imagine that.
yeah,
You're not gonna win anything, even with a Nick Saban at Auburn.
yeah.
That's just being
You
me.
got
So
you gotta let the coaches do it. If the coach can't do it,
He
yeah,
can't do it.
you gonna get 5 and 7 every year.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
Cause
mean,
cause no. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, a lot of programs just, I mean, the dominoes started falling today. I was just gonna say, like, I like a lot of hires that happen just based off, the ripple effect from the Iron Bowl last night, and the ripple effect of the Iron Bowl being Lane going to LSU, Florida getting a coach, Arkansas getting a coach, and then like just a lot of movement already. Like I said, tomorrow's the day, right? The portal open tomorrow. It's gonna be a beautiful day in the
Okay.
neighborhood because it's gonna get
Man,
real toxic and nasty
it's gonna get
tomorrow.
wicked. And the thing
So
about it, Ole Miss players, they know they in the playoffs. They are locking the playoffs, so they're not going nowhere. They're not about to opt out. We got a chance to go win a championship. Why would I opt out of that? So, but yeah, honestly, I think we sleeping. But give Ron. See the thing. I'm gonna say why I like Ron Silverfield the most. Cause you know why? There's no expectations in Arkansas. Hey man, we just want you to be competitive. We just want you to take this
compete.
team. We just want you to take this team to a 6-win, 7-win team, and then watch they take off. So give Ron Silverfield 3 years. They'll be back to how it was when Sam Pittman first got there. Pete Golden. Pete Golden at a place like Ole Miss, where it's like I said, the only expectation for Ole Miss is that hey, just keep us relevant,
Stay
man.
right here.
Let's just keep
Yeah,
us
Stay
stay
relevant,
right
man.
ready.
here. Just
Stay in
stay
the
right
stay.
here.
Keep us a seat at the table. That's all we need.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Alex
sad too.
Golish.
I was gonna
Alex
say it's gonna be
Golish is
sad
dealing
because
with
in 2 years,
Alex Golish.
after two 8-win seasons, they gonna change their tune.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they say spoiled
they
by
they gonna change
Lane
their
10 and
tune.
9 and 3 and 11 and 2s by Lane Kiffin. But Auburn, hey man, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man.
Let that man coach.
That Auburn, y'all might need to adjust y'all expectations a little bit. Like, stop trying to
They
talk championship talk, and I ain't even
they
talking
got
about SEC championship. Stop trying to talk about getting into the playoffs. Of course, that's your goal, but hey, establish a winning culture because guess what? You went 6-7 in 2021 or whatever.
they got
I don't even
they
know. You
got the
went
talent.
you
If
went
they can
five and
just put
seven.
it all
No, you'd
together,
had three straight. No, you'd had three straight losing seasons. Yes, you'd had three straight losing seasons in Auburn, man.
if
Adjust your expectations, man.
if they can
Yeah,
put it together, all of them gonna be dangerous.
They just need to go find a quarterback.
They just
That
yeah,
is
they
it.
gotta
But yeah, a lot of these, it ain't just Auburn. There's a lot of programs across
yeah.
the country, man.
which I was thoroughly impressed with the quarterback they played last
Y'all,
night.
Yeah,
yeah, y'all
he
are
can
not
play.
to liking
Very
guys
impressive.
anymore.
He
Yeah,
can
they
play.
just the guys just couldn't
They
catch it.
just need
But
good
yeah,
coaching. That's it.
DJ Durkin, I think if they can keep him with an offensive mind like Alex Golish and a quarterback, they can do something in Auburn.
I would
But
keep Dirty.
yeah, so like you said, Summerall, Florida, that's another one of those teams that kind of need to adjust their expectation.
We say
The Urban Meyer days are gone, man. Like
we
that
say the
that's over
lane
with.
for last.
The Urban Meyer, yeah, of course, the Urban Meyer days are gone. Like
Yeah,
that's over with. You had Dan Mullen in the building, but Dan Mullen didn't want to recruit. He had one bad season. Y'all let him go. Billy Napier went out here and stunk it up his whole tenure, and y'all held on to him until y'all finally gave it up. I and the biggest elephant in the room aside from the Tide, the Lane train himself. LSU. I'm not gonna tell y'all to
wow.
adjust y'all expectations because within the last 10 years, y'all actually have won a championship. But hey, simmer down. It ain't 2019 no more. Gene Chizik, Gus Malzahn, hell, even Brian Kelly himself could have coached that 2019 roster to a championship. Just stay the hell out of the way. That's it. Let Joe Burrow and crew do their thing, and you just talk to the guy like keep your head in the game. You talk to the media. Hey, this is what we did. We did. That's all you got to do. You just got to smile at the press conference. Let the players go out there and execute. But what do we expect from LSU 2026 season and beyond?
Boy,
They don't play Alabama. They do not play Alabama
they
next
Thank
don't.
week.
God they don't. Thank
No.
God they
Boy,
don't.
boy.
Thank God they
If
don't.
Lane if
Thank God
Lane
they
do what he
don't.
do at Ole Miss
Thank
at
God they don't.
LSU,
And if
boy,
all he has to do now is recruit a defense,
that's all he needs.
that's all
Cause
he
he gonna
needs.
have the offense. He gonna have the offense.
And again, like I just said, the transfer portal is about to jump harder than crack in the 80s come tomorrow, like for LSU. And I mean, like I said, they got the number one recruit in the nation about to come. I mean, he's a left tackle, but he's the best left tackle in the country. And, you still got,
Oh,
man, like I told somebody earlier, you got two words to say to recruits when you talk to them now. You don't have to say Talipo. You don't have to say nothing about Ole Miss or nothing like that. You can just say Baton Rouge. And Baton Rouge is more than enough to get anybody to sign on the dotted line. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you recruiting out of Louisiana. You really untouchable
Texas.
and you
Yeah, you ain't
untouchable in
compete with nobody. You
Louisiana.
not compete with nobody,
You
bro.
recruiting out of
you
Texas,
ain't.
you recruiting out of Oklahoma, you recruiting out of
Hell, you even going to
Arkansas.
Mississippi and
You're
stealing some out
going
of
back to
Mississippi.
Mississippi and taking what they got. So his Southern Hemisphere. This is one of those. First of all, this is one of those hires like it's undeniable. Like you're not gonna turn down retirement
LSU
money.
is a top
You're not
five
gonna
class.
turn down a top three job in the nation, and you're not gonna turn down retirement money. This is retirement money we talking about here. People 100 million. Like BK just got sent home with 50 million in a check. In 3 years, if Lane don't want to do nothing else, first of all, you can't come to Alabama. I hate to tell you, but you know what I'm
He
saying.
want
And
that so bad. He want it
I
I
so
think
ain't gonna
that's,
bad.
say no. He want
I
that
think
real
that's,
bad.
I think that's despite what he might do. You know what I'm saying with LSU over the next 3 years, but he can't come to Alabama. I can tell you that now. But beyond that, yeah, I mean, it's, it's gonna be tough. I don't know what's gonna happen past 26, but 26 gonna be a 10-win season for LSU. I think.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I think the turnaround happens quick. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Once you incorporate a Mad Hatter offensive mind, and you give that man a defense, he'll be in the SEC championship next year. He'll be on the other side of the SEC championship if Bama or Georgia not in it again.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
Cause he
Put the
should,
word
cause
of that.
they should have been in it this year. But you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
No, they fell off, man.
Yeah,
Garrett Nussmeier got benched. They offense, like you said, they had the offense under the Jaden Daniels regime. The defense was terrible. They finally put money in the defense. Garrett Nussmeier came back and he was hurt, and then
yeah,
bam,
he was
fell off and fell off. But hey, I really ain't got too much to really talk playoff talk because the ranking, the next iteration of the rankings ain't gonna drop until
yeah.
Tuesday. But we're gonna be back. Gonna,
I'll wait till Selection Sunday to really get into it
gonna be
because
back.
it's too many
Yeah.
hypotheticals out there right now.
Conference championship weekend on the way.
they,
SEC
they,
ship
they talking about
going
Duke
back
might
to
get
the
five off.
going back to the vacation home. Bryant Denny East. You know what I'm saying? We the last Well, last year, it was, sometimes we'll Airbnb it out. We'll let other people go in there. Just, as long as they clean up when they done, we'll let other people use it, rent it out, you know what I'm saying? But we coming back. We got the key. We finna unlock the door to the kingdom. Gotta walk the dog again, man. We gotta walk the dog one more time. Mangy Mutt, Georgia Bulldogs. But hey, we'll be back to preview that show. But on that note, we gonna go ahead and sign out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to the unofficial assistant coaches. I'm plugged in over there with them guys. But that's all I got. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we'll be doing a let me say this episode, recapping week 13's NFL's game with Finn's favorite co-host Raphael.
Yeah.
But on the
Appreciate
but thank
y'all.
you.
Appreciate y'all boys, man. Glad
But
to be
yeah,
back
we
with y'all boys.
but yeah, man, we go ahead and get up out of here before we get a little too crazy. All right, man, that's it. But thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, follow all our individual pages. Roll Tide. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at the camera, Drake, when I say this. And it's still fuck them trees.